This is about to set the world on fire, getting you two in the room.
Your day and then my day a little bit later. This NIL.
To be honest with you, NIL existed back then.
If I didn't have to Devo that dude to make him play Devin Hester, that's really what happened.
We fucked the Campbell thing. We fucked it. I'm going to tell you why we fucked it.
I've always given Luke flowers.
I'm like, fuck what Nevin said.
Hey,
He could have excused me in the back and I see this fine ass black girl walk this little motherfucker doing with this.
How does that exist when you're paying a kid $2 million? He's making more money than you. You're coaching him.
Say, fuck that. Y'all fired my coach.
You send me in a room with one of these other dudes that are paying the big money right now at Miami. Who's coming out with the kids?
You're going to get a better crew.
And the kick is, what is he looking at? What a hit. Ball's free. Houdini's in the house. Scooped up by the depth zone. Marcus Walker. Unbelievable. They got blockers. Boise State. We're going to win the football game. Sneaks is going to throw. Brunson. Touchdown.
Welcome to Beyond the Narrative. My name is Andy Hernandez, along with my co-host Peter Maribal, our co-host Nevin Shapiro, and Mr. Luther Campbell, Uncle Luke.
In the house.
This is about to set the world on fire, getting you two in the room. It's been a long time coming. Nevin, now you're a free man as of 4 or 5 hours ago. How are you feeling, my man?
I feel amazing, man. Like Nelson Mandela. Long walk to freedom. I'm here, man. Love it.
Awesome.
Happy to see an old friend.
Yeah, I know if you say free at last, free at last. Motherfuckers, I'm free at last. Hey, 4 hours? You say 4 hours?
4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5
Probably a little
hours.
longer than that. What time? 2 in the morning?
Body's not even cold, man.
Yeah. What time did they set you free at?
I left my apartment at 1:45 a.m.
Jesus.
So I can be the first person to take you to a strip club.
You know the feds listen. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you free, shit, let me
yeah,
take
that's
you
true,
to the
that's
strip
true,
club.
that's
We're
true,
going to go
that's
right
true,
down the
that's true.
street to Cheetah.
Yeah.
Get you a good lap dance. We used to stay all fucking night.
You gotta bring them back in, slowly. Anyway, so there was a lot of, back and forth and animosity, and people are going to be shocked when they see both of you in a room doing a podcast together. I don't know if you guys want to speak on that before we move on to what we're here about, which is NIL, University of Miami, college football, the landscape in college football right now. But if you guys want to address anything right now.
Yeah, I'm happy to. First of all, Luke and I always had a good relationship prior to my situation. Shit happens in life, and, look, I wouldn't want to be around a dude like me also with the allegations and everything I had to plead guilty to and whatnot. So it wasn't, it wasn't like winning a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, I wasn't thrilled about my situation. Shit happens, man. You've seen other people have long time feuds and then get back together and this and that. Man, I've been through so much shit. Like, it's unfazed, and I've always given flowers to Luke anyway. I mean, let's be real, man. He was repping the U for the. You're a Florida State guy, but like he was always repping the U.
Yeah, I'm a Florida State guy.
He was-
sorry
he
to
was-
tell you that.
Oh,
He
that's
was
why you got
always-
these colors on.
Yeah.
I was wondering about what's going on here.
Yeah, but like he was always repping the U back when no one was repping the U, and he made that shit hot and sexy back when, and it's indisputable. So like I've always given Luke flowers.
He paid the path, right? He was the
100%,
originator,
man.
Godfather.
100%, man. And
Remember him with the Miami jacket,
man,
sideline.
bro, on
Yeah.
South Beach, 85, 86,
Yeah.
rocking the green. Man. That's where we were born, man. That's where that whole fucking you thing started.
Right.
Say what you want. That's where it is. And for all these kids running around yelling, they weren't even, man, their parents hadn't even done it yet. You know what I mean? This guy was rocking that shit. So it's always been flowers from my end. You know what I mean? And I'm older now. He's older. Like, it just don't matter, man. One thing we both agree on is that we know there's more talent in South Florida than anywhere in the country. And this place should be stacked on top, regardless of my situation and everything else, which in due time, all that shit will come out. But, we agree on that. And he's been a pillar of that for forever.
Luke, I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
add to that.
I mean, it's the same thing because, when I met Nevin, I met him through quite a few people, former players who knew him, who, who was good friends with him, other celebrities and all that, and I always like, who the hell is this dude? And so I remember going to his house. He had this fine ass black girl. You still got her? I mean, and so that kind of fucking was like, this motherfucker here. He's this big, this tall ass, fine ass motherfucker. And I'm like, okay, he getting black pussy, so that means he gotta be cool. He's a Jewish guy. And we started vibing and started talking about Miami, and I realized that he had the same passion that I had. We both wanted to see the program, go to another level. We both wanted to help the players in the program, regardless of what people say. Before it was Nevin, it was me, and they tried to tie me with Pell Grant. They tried to say, oh, Luke did this and did that because he was on the sideline. Darren Lebatard made a career out of fucking writing articles about me, following me, chasing me down the golf courses and shit while I'm doing celebrity golf tournaments to get a article, a story, and then they went and fabricated a story similar to his situation when they say, oh, you paid Bernard Clark and you paid Charles Farm. No, I didn't fucking pay no Bernard Clark and Charles Farm. I mean, they were guys who I really didn't even fuck with like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I did have a relationship with some other guys, it was some other guys, but it wasn't them. You know what I'm saying? So we have a similar situation that was going on before. It was me because, again, at the end of the day, everybody hates Miami.
Right.
So they don't want to see Miami come up regardless of who it is, whether it's Luther Campbell, early on, Nevin Shapiro. I mean, they went after Ruiz or whatever, and anybody that tries to take us to the next level, and be at the forefront of it all. So, I understood what Nevin was up against and what he was doing. He had the relationship with guys. He's stroking Donna Shalala a check. And I'm like, shit, I like that guy as long as he, being a part of doing the right thing for the program.
Right. And sending her flowers.
Yeah. Did you bang her?
Oh, man. Yo, man, listen.
I got a lot of questions I want to ask you.
Fire away. Fire
One
away.
was the black girl.
Listen, I'm going to tell you
The
something.
next thing, did you bang Donna Shalala? Because something was going on
Quick
between
answer to
y'all
that
two.
is no. I would take one for the team, but man, I couldn't go that low. Fuck that, man. I changed my colors, dog. That just wasn't happening, man. But I get, I'm such a diehard man. I might have even considered it. I probably could have been talked into it, Luke. If you and I had one of those private off-base conversations, like anything's possible. You know what I mean? But you witnessed it all, man. You saw what it was inside, man. Fucking love those kids. I love those kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just wanted the program. We wanted to talk shit and just let everyone know, yo, we were that team and this and that. And, I read a lot of the commentary, and it's at first, it used to infuriate me, but I was also locked up. I had no fucking life. I was fucking living with 5,000 dudes. There were a number of issues going against me, so I was not happy. But what it is, man. Like these, at the end of the day, they're kids, man. They're kids. You know what I mean? They're kids.
Yeah.
And they're repping the 305, and that shit's never left me. And believe me, and there's so much more to my story with regards to the scandal and all that stuff. And this isn't the forum for it because we have really great topics to discuss. But there'll be a time when that all comes out too in its own thing. But as far as you and I go, I mean, I've always been straight.
Before we get into the Miami NIL, I want to back up on something you said about Lebatard and the Pell Grant. He's tried to push away from that situation, that it wasn't him. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, like I say, before it was Nevin, it was me. I'm the guy with the jacket on. And mind you, I'm a fucking fan since I was playing Pop Warner on Miami Beach. Where my brother used to take me to the stadium. You get in with a free jersey, and they was giving away the tickets at 7-Eleven and shit like that because nobody wanted to see that shit. I go way back with George Myra and Carl Selma and those, us getting our ass whooped. like really handed to us. And I'm sitting there and I love my team, me and all other 500 fans in the shit to the point where they wanted to tear this place down, you know. And so at the end of the day, I get 2 cents over my lunch money. I'm successful. And the first thing I do is, this sorry ass team, I take my sorry ass team, put it on my jacket, album cover jacket, Hurricane football. So we the wildest and craziest group in America, and I put the shit on, the drawers, the hat, the scarf, so that was the whole thing of bringing notoriety to our school, because we wasn't getting that from nobody else. And so with that came the bullshit, because I ended up, Miami was a school that didn't take too many African Americans. I think they had E.J. Baker and Kerry Baker and all of them at the time. And it was Carl Gables wasn't ready for that. So a lot of your kids would go to FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, even Florida wasn't taking too many of them. Then you have Snellenberger get beat by FAMU, changed the whole shit. FAMU then Snellenberger started recruiting the guys. I'm a kid, young guy. I'm out there hanging out at Green Tree, during those days. So I always wanted them to win. And then now fast forward to me, this entertainer, first guy to ever do it. You see every entertainer on the sideline right now, from the dude in Texas and everywhere.
Matthew McConaughey.
All these motherfuckers on the sideline. Yeah. We created that at the youth.
Little Wayne at Chavez Hunters.
Heisman. That was a problem. Yeah. That was a problem. Hire the fucking celebrity down there. And you would have my good friend now, Levitar, would write articles. And so everybody tries to start put 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 together and say, oh, he's got to be down there. He's a bad influence. And you had lawyers and shit. And why is he down there? Why is he wearing the jacket? I'm getting sued for wearing the jacket on the fucking album cover. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this sorry-ass team. So start getting relevant. Right. And then it became worse, once they started winning. And at the end of the day, like I said, I took the same heat. So I always, joke with Levitar. I'm like, motherfucker, I made your career. Right. I made you, boss, because you wrote those articles, and then the Charles Farm and the Bernard Clark one, and then came back around and wrote another one when it was Ryan Collins, when Bush Davis took over. Mm-hmm. And Bush Davis, I'm going to do direction, all this here. And again, I'm before the Nevin. Now, that's why I was kind of happy he came. So he could
heat
fuck
off
with
you.
Them. Yeah, I can back it the fuck up.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what ended up happening. Right. So he writes another article saying that I said I'm going to give the school a death penalty if they don't start Ryan Collins. Mm-hmm. Me and him having a conversation. Right. And I'm like, he was like, Luke said the shit that he knows, if Bush Davis do that, he going to give the school a death penalty, which I did not say. In the article. So me and him always had this back and forth of him writing these unfair articles, and I tell him right now today, and you still didn't get nobody to say I paid them, regardless of what I paid somebody.
Yeah, he tries to push away from it all the time. And
he always does.
Because
he's making tons of money now. I'm still waiting for my fucking check.
Good luck.
Yeah, like motherfucker, I made your career.
Yeah.
But he good people.
So let's talk about the University of Miami. Last 30 years, you spoke about a little bit about this. It went from you, then transitioned over to Nevin, and then the last 20 years has been abysmal. Why is that, and why hasn't Miami been able to figure out? They had a decent season this year. They went 10-2. Some would say that it wasn't up to par having Cam Ward, that they lost a great opportunity to probably win a national championship. So what are your thoughts on why Miami still hasn't been back to prominence since 2001, 2002?
Well, the suits took over. You got to remember, even going, and I always go back with the history of it, Miami didn't give a fuck about football. Mm-hmm. When Stellenberger was there, they didn't think it was going to work. So you didn't have a bunch of boosters and suits and shit getting involved saying, what should happen in football or not, right? And it was a period of time when Jankovic was there. Like I say, it was big shit, because the kids would walk around with the scarves on, and they would go with the bandana, the Luke bandana, because they took on the life of the bad guys. Bad guy rappers, bad guy, it is all Miami. And then Djokovic, tried to move them away from that. Donald Shalater came in, tried to move them away from that tough guy image, which still to this day, nobody gives a fuck about us. They just fucked us in the playoff.
Right.
Right? And so at the end of the day, Miami started hiring these bullshit coaches. Again, South Florida is rich with talent. We got more talent than anybody in the world. I mean, I did a documentary, and they did the numbers from 6 square miles in Liberty City. You got more football players in that area than you have in the entire fucking country when it comes to NFL and all that. They got away from that. They got away from who they were, and they tried to be corporate. Going down the line, they wanted to be Duke. They went through so many fucking changes other than letting real people coach and run the team. I remember he had a suggestion. I met him the one time at his house. Then we went to the game, and he had a suggestion for a coach. I forget that coach's name.
That was Houston Nutt at that time.
Houston Nutt at the time. And I was like, well, why would he say Houston Nutt? But at the time, Houston Nutt was hot.
Smoking.
He was fucking hot.
I remember.
And the thing is, like, he would say Houston Nutt, then I would say Lane Kiffin. They ain't fucking with that.
Right.
That's a little too much risky for them. And if it's coming from him and it's coming from me, then they'll go total opposite direction of that. And people like us have the pulse of the kids, have a clear understanding of what these young people want. And, again, they'll go a different direction. And that's why I always call it the suits taking control of the program. And that's how the program eventually ended up irrelevant for so many years.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And you keep hearing, from the people around the program that they're having an issue connecting with the inner city, and trying to get those players there. They've done an okay job of trying to get that back. But this go around, this recruiting class, they fell back again.
Yeah, they want to, it's like a bait and switch. They want to live off of the swag. They want to embrace the Billy Corbin documentary. They want to embrace what the high life that Nevin had, the players and all the high life and the beautiful shit that he'll tell those stories and the beautiful times that they had. They want to embrace that, but they really ain't about that life. They get a coach that ain't. They always get coaches that's not about that life. You know what I'm saying? And so kids get baited into, and their parents get baited into, oh, we're going to be swag. The motherfuckers have no idea what swag is. Zero.
And let me chime in.
Yep.
Luke's 1,000% right. Man, he couldn't have said it any better. So a lot of times when I was having dialogue, he's right. They want the swag, but they don't really want the swag. They need it, but they don't want to we're really about that. And I've seen it. It takes a Miami guy to know what a Miami guy is. And I'm going to give you a quick story.
That guy was supposed to be Mario Cristobal.
I'm going to let.
I'm being honest. I mean,
I personally have been on the outside watching in, so you'd probably have to direct those questions more at Luke because he is a current high school coach with talented kids that head that way. So he could answer better than I could, even though I know Mario very well from back when. But as far as really knowing the pulse, you've got to be a guy who's been instilled and ingrained in that program. Him and I used to sit and talk about it. Our conversations were personal about what we thought, this dude should, this ain't the guy, that's the guy. But at least I know where it's coming from. So I'll listen to his answer as opposed to one of these, know-it-alls or computer warriors that think they know what's up.
Right.
And they don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he's right. Man, it takes a Miami guy. And I'm going to give you a quick story. This is what I started to say. We had two guys that are going to the Hall of Fame. One who probably won't, but won't get there. Defensive backs. And they were recruiting a kid who inevitably went to Florida. I'm not even mentioning his name. You want to go do the Met, whatever. And when they came to my house on a Friday night, we were going to Club Privé. which is hip hop night, had just started. And I knew as soon as my boys came walking in with the white Air Force Ones and the white tee, and this dude came walking in with the Tommy Hilfiger and the sweet perfume. I just knew he wasn't for us.
Yeah.
I knew it right off the rip.
Right.
And they knew it.
Right.
And I made a call that night, and I said, look, man, I'm not wasting my whole Friday night on this shit, man. He ain't coming. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, man, fuck it, he ain't coming. I made one of the kids drive by. I said, yeah, fuck it. I'm not ruining my Friday night. But that's what he means. That's what you just know, man. You just know. You fit the bill or you don't.
Right.
And that's the thing. But that's, which is a large part of how you can really miss on players. Like, the old saying is take one to know one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you have not been in a locker room and you know he's the first, you're looking for Jerome Brown, you're looking for Vince Wilfork, William Joseph on your line, you're looking for Vilma, Michael Barrow at your line, you're looking for a Sapp, you're looking for this DB with that attitude. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you have to look for those, you have to have been in those rooms, embrace what was in those rooms. Because you could have been in those rooms, but really wasn't about that life. And then now when you get the mic, you start bringing in motherfuckers that go to Florida State with the suit on and shit. Like, hold on.
We want to talk about the last 20 years? We want to talk about the last 20 years?
No, we ain't gonna do that.
If you want.
Like, you know,
We ain't gonna do that. 2 and what it was, 1 and 9.
Yeah, that's fine.
We ain't gonna do that.
Hey, shit happens.
I'm looking at it.
New world, man. Could happen in Miami next year.
Yeah, so you have to bring in those type of guys.
Sure.
That's the other part of it. Mm-hmm. So you get the job and you look like you're the part, but then you're not bringing in those type of guys. You know, one of those type of guys back in the days could go and have a conversation with him. He can get on the phone. Hey, look, motherfucker, get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring in a few headaches. Mm-hmm. But you got to have coaches that can deal with that. Because take one to know one. You know, when you had, who was the recruiting coordinator at the time?
Jeff Merck.
He's coaches for the Eagles. He was just
Clint
in a
Hurt.
fight.
My boy.
Hurt.
Hurt. Yeah.
Hurt know him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Take one to know one.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jimmy knew what a player looked like. Mm-hmm. Jimmy wasn't chasing no stars. I mean, I remember when I was coaching at Miami Northwestern, I took Amari Cooper to Alabama. And we were doing camps. It was him and Artie Burns. Amari Cooper the previous year had 200 yards. I liked him because, coaching at Central, scouting against him, but he really didn't do good that year. But I'm like seeing a guy jump off the film. And then when I see his body of work, I took him to Miami. Oh, okay, I'll go then. Oh, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We have this guy, Herb Waters, and we told Herb we're not going to get nobody else. Right then, I said the program going to shit.
Right.
Because we never had no problem. You brought in you had Gore come in when all those other motherfuckers was there. No, you're going to come in this bitch and compete. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what it is, man.
Right then, I said, we're going the wrong direction. I mosey down the highway to Florida State camp tour. They end up at Alabama. Nick saw the young man run 3 routes. Oh, you got an offer. Shit. And then I go to Nick. I'm like, Nick, I don't want you to make it seem like I'm selling you some bullshit. But you just offered a guy with no stars, 0 stars. He said, I make stars, and I know football players.
See, and that to me is the difference between a good coach and an elite coach. Because I guarantee you have Nick Saban down here when we had the Miami Northwestern 5, Ja'Cory Harris, Algerius Johnson. You give them those guys, and they do not underachieve like those guys did. Underachieve by a record perspective. They were great players. But our coaching wasn't there to get them to that elite level. Right.
Everybody don't know football. He knows more football players than a lot of coaches because just what he just said earlier. Hey, no. You bring this dude here to beat me, man. This motherfucker ain't built for this shit.
Right.
Nah. You know, without calling people names, we could spot him a mile away.
They brought you Sunshine?
You know,
Sunshine.
and by the way, it was the Northwestern 8. It was
right, 'cause we had
Northwestern. And the
the
ninth dude
linebacker,
was Levante
Tommy
David.
Streeter.
That they missed.
That they
and
missed.
And I was fucking
Right.
screaming and
And he's
hollering.
still playing.
Yo,
Yep.
and he's still playing. The only motherfucker that's still playing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, no
Well,
disrespect to the rest of them dudes,
Yeah.
but they were great players. But that dude there, you know, was the guy. And, you know, nobody gave him the test because back in the days, they was giving everybody the test. You know, everybody got the fucking test.
Right.
They ain't give him the test, so he had to go JUCO. But the crazy part about it, he only had one offer. Guess who offered him? Guess what former Miami coach offered him? You're going to fall out your seat.
Yeah. Who was it?
Manny Diaz.
Oh, Manny
Wow.
Diaz, yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did you see this? He was at Middle Tennessee at the time.
Wow.
That blew my mind right there. I was like, Manny, you offered him, but you don't know shit about players when you get here. You offered all these slaps. What are you doing? But Manny did build a good roster.
Yeah.
As you can see, they playing for SMU.
Right, right.
Right.
In the playoffs.
Right, man.
yeah.
At the end of the day.
See,
So
that's
I
the-
take that back, Manny. I take that back. You know your shit, boss.
And see, that's the thing.
Right.
He talks the truth, man. Like people just like to be lied to.
Right.
They don't want to hear the real.
Right.
Like this is the real. Like he lied. This and that. Like I told that story about Devin Hester. I mean, I loved Larry Coker. He was a gentleman. But man, if I didn't have to Debo that dude to make him play Devin Hester, that's really what happened.
Damn.
That's really what happened.
And I've talked to former players that you've put me on the phone. They've confirmed that story. So for all of you that say that story didn't really happen, I got news for you. I've had other people tell me that it happened.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is, man.
Right.
Listen,
Nobody wants to believe
This
what you
dude's
say
the
for
real
whatever
pioneer.
reason,
Right.
but it's all true.
he's the real pioneer of this shit. Like I give flowers. I know where. Like I'm a diehard for these dudes, partially because of that dude. You know what I mean? And that's just keeping it a buck, not kissing his ass, just keeping it a buck. That's what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, that swag was dirty, nasty in those days. We started all this shit. Man, we started all this shit. All of it. The taunting, the fucking gangbanging on the fucking fields and all that shit. We started it. They changed the rules because of us.
Yeah, every rule was changed
Right.
because of Miami. But then you look at college football right now; they want it back. You know, that's why when you look at college football right now, you see the guys who are winning on a consistent basis. They know talent. They know what it looks like. They know what it walk like. They know what it smell like. They know what the family, where they came from. They ain't. I mean, great coaches ain't chasing stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can say what you want to say about Dabo Swinney. The motherfucker know football players, and he has a big office right here. He has another office next to him. It's an old black guy sits right next to him, who was his receiver coach at Alabama. You know, and that dude right there, between them two, you know, you see, that's the motherfucker that sat by the dope. You know what I'm saying? So they know football players. I mean, Nick knew football players.
Right.
You know, shit. Butch Davis knew football players.
Here's a good example, Luke. Excuse me. Back when Russell, Maryland, man, one scholarship offer. Illinois Wesleyan. Butch Davis pulls him out of Chicago. Becomes the first pick in the NFL draft. That's when you see what others don't see.
Yeah.
And that's been man, I went toe to toe, I went toe to toe with Donna Shalala and God rest his soul, Paul D. I said, man, name me the coach. He would have been on the staff. Like, that was it.
At least our recruiting would have been
we
damn
I
good.
was on the staff for a
We would have
second.
went,
Yeah.
we would have went right to probation, but yo, we would have had some
Oh, yeah,
fight.
yeah.
I promise you, man. We would have been fucking, man. We would have been must-see TV. We
Right.
wouldn't lose. Like, and so, and that leads into one of the topics I think is crucial, and that was another reason why I want to be part of this discussion. Was, and I want to ask this question. So, Luke, if we had back in the day, your day and then my day a little bit later, this NIL.
To be honest with you, NIL existed back then because it existed on the park. You know, you played good on the park, which all our parks, swole up with kids, blighted area. You did good, The guy reached across the fence because he just bet the other guy and won a bag of money and take care of the kid. You know what I'm saying? It was the same exact thing, whether it's a booster who puts money into a program and he bets on the team, and then he mad as fuck if they lose, and if he loses money, but if he wins the spread, he okay. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing at the park. So it existed at that point. So now, fast forward into going to these colleges, you know, kids were making more money at the high school and making more money at the park.
It's crazy.
And then going to a university,
Taking a pay cut.
you taking a fucking pay cut. You're taking a pay cut. So then now you're sitting there, you done went somewhere, and that's why a lot of guys didn't make it. You sitting there and, you know, half of the kids, mom getting their rent paid because a coach is taking them over here and taking, you know, hitting them off and paying the rent. So now you go to college and you're all fucked up.
Right.
So then now it becomes these young men are at college. That's a Miami thing. I don't know if it exists anywhere else, but I know it's a Miami thing that you reward guys who out there balling, especially if you know that they ain't got it.
Mm-hmm.
If a kid got it like that. But that's what we do. That's a part of our culture. You know, our parents do it.
Right.
Hey, you hit a home run.
Take
There
the
you
prize
go.
for you.
You know, whatever the fuck you want to do. So we all do it on some level.
Some level, yeah.
You know,
That's actually a really good point. Cause
Yeah.
like I can't tell you, if you bring home straight A's, you get this, and I'm like, all right.
It's-
Never brought home straight A's.
It's NIL. It's incentive-based business. You know, you can't get the little
Do your
motherfucker-
chores, get $5. All right,
Exactly.
let's do it.
Hey, don't bring no ugly ass girl in my house at 15 and you get $100. You get the car. That motherfucker ugly, you ain't get no car.
So the current state of the NIL now, you know, and it's getting progressively worse year over year, where players are basically opting out right before a bowl game. I've never seen what I've seen the last week of the amount of players that are just opting out and going to go get the bag. How do you guys feel about that? And should there be some parameters or regulation on this particular situation?
I'll give you my answer based on my situation that I went through with these fuckheads at the NCAA. Okay?
I thought you liked him.
Man, listen, man.
Did they come to your house like they did to my house?
Oh, man.
They came. You know what? You know how I did to them when
Problem
they
is,
came.
they couldn't come to my house. My house, you needed to get in.
They came to my condo.
I was doing count time at 9 p.m. They couldn't get into my house.
Oh shit!
You leave him a key under the rug?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So when I got into this whole thing with the NCAA people, they were ready to hire me as a consultant while I was in prison. They were ready to hire me as a consultant. And everyone's like, oh, this is fucking bullshit and this and that. No, when you know somebody who knows the ins and outs, I got into it with Mark Emmert. Like, you better pay these kids or find a way to start paying these kids because Armageddon's coming. They put their head in the sand and Armageddon's here. Mm-hmm. Anything that's going on right now, man, the NCAA can look right in the mirror. It's on them. Now they're begging. They're going to end up begging for the government to get involved for regulation purposes. How else can they fix it? They got no, who even pays them mind?
Yeah, it's out of control. I mean, they just like you say, they even tried to get the government to get involved when Nick went and started lobbying Ted Cruz and all them after he decided to retire, to try to regulate it because the states were moving in the direction of NIL and giving all these players this money. I mean, they even moved the last week. They kind of changed the rules, told all the college coaches, hey, look, we're going to start with the college. They went from one end and said colleges are now going to control the NIL. Mm-hmm. The actual school is going to do the paying,
Revenue
and not
sharing,
the collective
collectives.
model. And so then after that, they approved that. Now, last week, they then moved to, okay, we're going to put these motherfuckers on a contract. So they're going to be almost like employees.
Yeah. Now you got W-2s and all kinds of
Exactly.
different shit.
And then they in the contract, they're going to put it in the contract that you're going to have to play in the bowl game. That way that they can kind of control the situation. You know, obviously, it's going to be probably some loopholes to get out of that, but these every day is changing, and then again, the last few days, they ended up doing what? Saying junior college. You know, 2 years. You play 2 years, and it don't count against you.
Yeah, with Diego Pavia out of Vanderbilt.
Exactly. So then now it's gonna get worse because say a bad guy. A bad guy could tell a college player, go sit at JUCO for 2 years. You know, I'm gonna take care of you at the JUCO. You're gonna come in at what, 21 as a true freshman?
20,
20.
21, yeah.
But by the time you finish, if you do 3 years, what the fuck are you, like 25?
You can be 38.
Yeah, you're
26.
gonna be Chris Winkie.
Right, no,
You know what I'm saying?
Like this
Because
kid,
you can get redshirted at the college.
right? Because this kid, like for example, like I made a joke about it on one of our podcasts. The dude McCormick, the tight end, ninth year.
9
Yo,
years.
all he's got to
28
do is
years
come back next year, man. He's on a pension.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I wouldn't be surprised they looked at that whole model of the COVID. Remember they gave the COVID year?
Yep.
That's better for the NFL because now those guys are more older and they're more developed.
Yep.
So they done looked at those numbers and saying these COVID players have panned out better because even when you look at Cam Ward, what did they say about Cam Ward?
Yeah.
He has a lot of fucking games.
Right.
You know, he's really experienced because he went JUCO. He went to another small college. He has versus a guy who only had 1 or 2 years, you know, like the kid from Florida who's at
Anthony Richardson?
yeah, like I mean
Oh, I'll give you another example. The kid Trey Lance, man, San Fran bargained their whole draft for that guy. He played 3 games.
No, he can't even get playing time in Dallas.
Yeah.
Out of all
3 games.
places.
He's a number
Third
2 pick.
string.
I can start at Dallas at this point.
because they don't have no games.
He didn't
up
even
under
play like
that.
at a real Power 5
He
conference.
played in North
plays-
Dakota State.
yeah.
Not that they're bad and you're knocking them, but
No,
man,
it's
he
bad.
played a couple of games.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's right. See, but like you need guys that have been around. Okay, so I'm a scumbag and I'm this and I'm that, whatever the fuck you want to call me. Look, but one thing I know what the fuck's going on behind the scenes, like what Luke was saying.
Right.
As far as, yo, that dude's. You got to know guys that really know how that shit works. And he's on a whole different level than me. He coaches it every day. So that's his
He's around
life
it. Yep.
every day. Why wouldn't you want the opinion of those? They know where the pitfalls are and the landmines because they're greedy motherfuckers. And that's really what it comes down to. And it's all about TV money. And who cares if the product gets diluted? And that's what's happened. And it's so obvious, man. It's just so obvious. And, you know, so like I read the computer wars and everything, this and that. Fuck they ever. They don't know. He knows. If he says something, I believe it because I know it, where it's coming from.
Yeah, the landscape is really changing. I mean, when you see a Belichick go into North Carolina, and the first thing he do once he cut his deal, he publicizes his deal, which obviously is a public university. They can publicize it. They would have done it. It would be public knowledge, but he put on there, okay, 3-year guaranteed, $10 million a year, right? So that's to tell.
His buyout's like $100,000 or something.
Exactly.
Like that, yeah.
That's to tell other recruiters because the recruiter will go in. If he's recruiting against them, they'll say, "Oh, Belichick is going to be here for 1 year. He's going to leave."
Well, they're
You
saying
don't
he's not
feel
even
that.
going to
That's,
coach a game.
That's
that's a
argument.
mental
He's
game.
not even
right
going to
there.
coach a game, is what some of them are saying.
Yeah, and so that kills that argument. Oh, they don't have no money. No, we got $20 million in NIL money, which is the average rate, which Miami
3.5,
and
yeah.
Ohio State was running. Oh, I have a GM took the Miami model of the GM, which originally had Ed Reed, but then when they really got a real GM, which was Highsmith, but never used him, you know, took that same model and hired a GM. First thing the GM get on the job, 3 days he's on there, he's taking shots at Miami. You know what I'm saying? So they looked at the Miami model, which we wasn't really using it, and saying we're
Mario
going
was
to take
making a decision.
this whole thing and then we're going to run this shit at North Carolina. So I'm really interested in looking at, you know, how they move because these dudes is real talent evaluators. That motherfucker, again, Belichick, no talent.
Right.
You have to fear a guy who knows talent versus some old pretty boy like Norville. I'm sorry, fit the bill.
You know what Norvell has?
I'm
An
sorry.
ACC championship. But let's go. We can keep it moving.
Well, no, he's also very charitable because he did give back
$4.5
$4.9 million of his salary because they suck so bad this year.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Shit, that still ain't gonna save his ass. But I like Norvell.
I like him too. I think he's a good guy.
dude. I talk to him all the time.
Right.
You know, me and him talk, but he knows where I stand in Miami. All those motherfuckers know where I stand. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we have a great working relationship, but
Right.
but yeah, he's the perfect guy to look at a team and a program, right? With all the fucking Maseratis parked in the front, going back to what Never say, you're paying the wrong motherfuckers. He got all the cars, and then I have a conversation with him like, we look a different way in practice than we're playing, right? And we talking about this. And I didn't only hear that from him, I heard it from some other coaches, some other programs that were not doing good, that then paid a bunch of fucking people. See, guys, it's like a Diddy party. You're trying to have a Luke party, but you go over fucking board. You know what I'm saying? You can't have. You gotta know what you're doing.
He completely.
You know, it's like they trying to have a Nevin party, but you paying the wrong motherfuckers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't pay every motherfucker out there. You gotta know, whoa, William Joseph. Yeah. This dude right here, yeah. They paying everybody.
Right.
And getting everybody money that ain't, you know, that they okay with. You know, obviously a lot of these kids ain't never seen $10,000.
Right.
Let's only give them $100,000 and then give them a Hellcat.
Right.
And you got to know that I can't pay him this because he gonna shut the fuck down. That's it for him. He done made it. Life is over.
That's it.
You gonna pay a motherfucker like Jerome Brown. Like, I love football. Fuck this money. I go out there with no socks on. You know, I love football.
Man, that is such a great point,
That's
man.
a very good point.
Listen, what made those Miami teams so phenomenal and different back in the day? It was the competition. Their practices were legendary, right? The brawls that used to take place, game day was like phys ed for them. And that don't exist. How does that exist when you're paying a kid $2 million?
Right.
He's making more money than you. You're coaching him.
Yeah.
Look at that kid from Michigan that got the $12 million contract or the $12 million to go there. Like, dude, he's making $1 million less than Kirby Smart almost, you know?
Yeah. But again, you got to know, I'm not giving that money to a guy who fucking around with hats, you know, social media dancing and doing all this wild shit.
point, yeah.
I'm gonna get that money to Travis Hunter.
Right.
The grinder.
Because you love football. People don't realize if you go back and look at his first game at Jackson State, they played FAMU here in the stadium. He was injured. He couldn't play. That kid cried on Deion's shoulders. I want to play, coach. I want to play. You know what I'm saying? He actually literally, that is a football player.
Yeah.
Fuck the money. You know what I'm saying? And what you see him doing right now you fast forward 3 years, everybody's like, that kid, when I saw that kid do that, now he was the number one player coming out of high school football that year. I was like, that's a football player there. You know, and again,
He does things on the field that I haven't seen in a very,
everybody
very
don't
long
know
time.
everybody don't know football.
I want to
players.
ask you a question, Luke, about that. We had a podcast probably maybe 6 weeks ago, and this is when the Heisman, I think this is before Miami took their first loss. So Cam Ward was right in it, and he was amazing. I loved him all year. Definitely top two play. I mean, he was up there. You know, you can't take anything from Travis Hunter. But Andy had asked me a question about, like, who do you have in the Heisman race? And I said, you know, a guy like Travis Hunter, it takes a dude like Deion to know, because Deion had that type of confidence to really go outside the box and let a kid like that go both ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that assessment, that that's not the norm?
Deion, again, is using the Miami model. Everybody use Miami model. This shit ain't broke. You know what I'm saying? What is he doing? Let's go back. Deion goes to Florida State. We got all the swag, doing all the everything, you name it. Deion then takes what we're doing to Florida State. He got that Jerry Curl. He doing the rap songs. He got the swag. Deion was the only guy, and that's why if you look at why he has all these Miami guys on his staff, is because
He knows.
Deion was the guy who was at Florida State that wish he was at Miami. And then now he settled in at Florida State, and he brought Miami to Florida State. The swag and all the glitz and the glamour, so he knows it. So what is he doing over there? He's doing the same thing. So again,
Replication.
Again, people say they want it, but they don't want it. And again, it takes one to know one. The man say, I'm coming in here with Louis. I'm bringing my Louis. I want dogs. Most coaches ain't gonna do that because they don't know what a fucking dog is if they hit him in the head. These people give him the run of the operation. He's successful. He's gonna be successful. He's doing what every one of these young people want. We fucked the Campbell thing up. We fucked it. I'm gonna tell you why we fucked that up. His Heisman opportunity. If you ever take a minute and go look at University of Miami's social media page, go back and look while all this shit was going on. Twitter, Instagram, you had no mention of this kid.
Nothing.
Go look at Colorado. Deion been promoting his guys he's been marketing his guys. He got the celebrities in the locker room. He got the bells and the whistles and all this jazzy shit. That's what these young people want.
Yep.
You don't have a whole team from Marshalls say, fuck that, y'all fired my coach. These kids are different.
Right.
They're not like that anymore. I mean, it's the white kids, the black kids, the Latino kids. You fuck with their coach and that they love, they're going to say, fuck you.
Right.
If you ain't got no swag, they'll play for you to take your money. They'll take your money. And then they'll be like, yeah, fuck that shit, man. I got a green-ass coach. I really want to be fucking with Deion. Because that shit they doing over there, you know what I'm saying? So if you don't have them kind of guys on your staff, and everybody's Mr. Green Jean with their pants all the way up their neighbor and shit, and they don't know who in the neighborhood to find to bring them kids to then say, nah, send them back. Let them go to fucking Nebraska or some goddamn place. And if you ain't about that, again, we're green as fuck. And I put it on social media. I said, we fucked that up. We had no marketing behind that guy. He was going up against a fucking machine called Colorado Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? And Deion was pushing him and his son and his program. That's why he's continuously getting players. And we just sitting there. I mean, Colorado Buffalo follow me on social media. Miami don't. That's how bad this shit is. Ole Miss follow me.
Time out. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Ole Miss follow me. Florida State follows me. Miami
I'm
don't.
shocked.
They don't follow nobody with no fucking swag.
Wow.
But why?
And that's the world we live in.
Fucking Satan to those people.
Right.
Oh, dude, I got friends that hate you with a passion.
Y'all, my friends, hate you.
I love it.
Oh, can we go around the room and say who all
man,
got friends that hate them?
Man, I love it.
Right.
I love it. No, really. Because they'd be the same dudes knocking on the door. Hey, man, can I get in on your party, man? Same dudes.
Do you lose any sleep?
He's out.
This guy doesn't even sleep.
by-
This guy goes to bed at 1.
Luke,
He's
man,
texting like at 4.
Last time you saw me, man, I was 6'2". Talking about
No, that black girl was 6'2". What a I'm gonna keep asking you, what the fuck you
man, come on, dog.
She was
Another
fine
picture
as
showed up
fuck.
at
Y'all,
lunch.
listen, man.
I see pictures.
Oh, you saw a picture?
Yeah, we
yeah.
just saw one at lunch.
Oh my God. I'm at this dude fucking house and he got me over there. I'm sitting there and the big guy excuse me in the back and I see this fine ass black girl walk through the fuck is this little motherfucker doing with this motherfucker right here? She walking through there like, you remember the girl on the Beastie Boys video where she just walking down the beach?
Yeah.
I'm like, look at this motherfucker. I'm like, fuck what Nevin said. He could've,
Hey, serious question. Ready? You take me. I don't want to mention the guys' names who became all of a sudden
No,
the
mention them,
big
mention them.
deals. So, Luke, you've been around, man. Forget the hate and all the shit between me and you. We're way past that, right? Yo, you send me in a room with one of these other dudes that are paying the big money right now at Miami. Who's coming out with the kids?
Oh, you're definitely coming out with the kid.
I mean,
No,
come on.
no, it's not coming out with the kid, the right one.
Right. You know
If
what
I
I'm
give
saying?
you, if I give you 20 million,
I'll peep
and
it.
give this other
I'll
motherfucker
peep
20
it.
million,
I'm
you're gonna
peep
get a better crew of
Because
kids.
I'm going to peep it, man. You know what I mean? I could tell. Listen, when we used to go, when we were doing our recruiting stuff, and so like at the time, you had like the club bed and like those, at that time was hot air. And we had these 5 stars because they were just coming out with stars. They weren't like all, I think it started like mid 2000s. And I see this kid, he's from Wisconsin, he's a 5-star, but I see him face down on the bed, drunk, passed out cold. I'm like, yo, this kid ain't coming here. Like, he won't make it through the first week. Forget the semester. He won't make it through the first week. Miami's a different animal. You got to know who you got to size your people up, man, and know who's built for this shit.
Yeah, even kids that live here that may be stars, it's not built for them.
Right.
Yeah, man.
You know, you have some great athletic kids that you ain't gonna function. You need to go somewhere else. It takes a certain type of player to play here, and I don't think a staff to this day since Jimmy has been able to bring those type of people.
To recognize it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Randy Shannon to death. That's like my mentor. I fucking screamed and hollered about getting Devontae Freeman, who y'all was successful, and he wouldn't touch him. I screamed and hollered about getting T.Y. Hilton, wouldn't touch him.
My God.
You know what I'm saying? So I can name every coach and give you a story about top of the line players that they wouldn't touch, but it comes back to what was the administration hiring and what were they telling them, who and what not to bring there, from where, from what community. You see what I'm saying? So I think it kind of went back to what it was back in the days where it was like, okay, you only got 5 guys from the neighborhood that you could bring, you know, and not necessarily, I mean, even Manny Diaz brought a bunch of guys from down south. I mean, no disrespect down south, but they different than up north kids. Everything past Flagler north is different.
It's different, yeah.
You know, than, you know, back down south. So it be kind of weird to me how they operate. I mean, you could easily win 7 games, 7, 8 games, but then now when you get across the hump, you say you want to be real Miami, then you got to hire coaches that's bought that life, that's gonna go and get them type of dudes that's gonna come in there and ain't scared of them. A lot of people scared of real football players, you know, because they're gonna test your mental. If you don't know shit, you know, they're gonna tell you don't know shit. So you're gonna have to go get me a coach that do know some shit, that has some guys that they've coached. You can't go get a whole staff full of G5 coaches and expect these guys to listen to them.
Sure.
I mean, everybody look at Warren Sapp and see how good him and coach, what's the other UM player? D-Lou. Why are they so successful? Because they're successful on different levels. A kid gonna listen to Warren Sapp and D-Lou because, again, them motherfuckers got a gold jacket. This dude got a gold jacket. And then he can relate to them.
Sure.
You know, he can talk the shit with them. You know, people don't realize Sapp been coaching. You know, he can talk, and he got the gift of gab, and then you got a guy like this guy behind them. Everybody ain't built for that. Everybody don't want that on their staff.
Right.
There's no reason why them 2 guys should be over there and they shouldn't be in Miami.
Right?
Including my situation, which I took the blame for 20 years, whatever. Oh, Miami can't come back because of this. Man, let me tell you something. In South Florida, you don't need 5 years, man, to rebuild the culture. You need a year. Other shithole places have done it. Indiana, Arizona State. Manny Diaz went 9-3 at Duke. We did a game better than them. There's no reason Miami's not number 2, heading in as a number 2 seed right now, because Oregon would have stayed probably number 1.
Easy side of the bracket.
Easy side of bracket. They play a lame, probably Notre Dame team, a lame Penn State team. Next thing you know, they're in the semis by just blinking.
Right.
They blew a generational talent in this kid Cam Ward with a cupcake conference. You agree?
Yeah. No
I mean,
doubt
this
about
was-
it. I mean, it was.
It was set up.
For more reason than one. You can't lose to Syracuse.
Not when you're favored by
when
12.
you're up
1-0.
21 points and they got the worst run defense in America.
Man, you just
I mean,
keep pounding them, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. I said this in our podcast. You have David Martinez that was running all over them.
Everywhere.
And
8 yards
your
a pop.
Yeah, so why are you not keeping the ball away from Syracuse? And I asked you this question. Why didn't they go to that?
Yeah, it wasn't like he just was getting off that game.
Right.
The last sorry-ass team played them got 300 yards rushing.
Sure.
They were the worst rush defense in college football.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at the stats, you're like, okay, we're going to this motherfucker run this bitch.
right.
Yeah, we're going to get up 21, we're going to run.
We're gonna run,
So
yeah.
the in-game coaching becomes real weird. What Georgia Tech did to them was really amazing.
It was.
I mean, for more reason than one on defense, they had them totally confused on the defense side of the ball. What they were doing, because Georgia Tech took some things that another team was doing to us. Everybody looked at Miami and said they got the players, but then they went after the coaching, and the coaching has to make adjustments.
Correct.
When you look at Cal, what Cal did to us, and then you look at Cal took and exposed us with running backs out the backfield, and then everybody saw us taking defensive ends and covering running backs, running through the flat, and Cal is beating our ass. Sorry ass Cal. And then go to Louisville. Louisville does the same thing. Then you got Georgia Tech saying, "Oh, these motherfuckers peeling these dudes and stunting these dudes," and I mean.
And don't forget, Randy Shannon put in that defensive game plan for Florida State to hold us in check behind the scenes, right? That was really, in my opinion, that don't mean I know it all. That was the blueprint on how to slow that shit down.
Yeah.
And, Mario's out there beating his chest. We run the recruiting now. It's come on, man.
Yeah, he has to get a better staff of coaches. I mean, what Nick Saban always done, which was unique, different than any other coach, Nick would have the best staff, guys who are smarter than him. When you look at a college football team, big time Power 5, the ones who are successful are the ones who have successful coaches. The guy runs for 500 yards on us, North Carolina, 2 running backs. When they played us here at the
Carolina,
stadium.
yeah.
2 running backs get drafted.
Yep.
They damn near rushed for 500 yards.
Michael Carter, and the other dude.
Exactly. You know what happened the next year? Nick Saban hired the fucking running back coach.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do when you're big time Power 5. Everybody in that room has to be. I mean, we're a big time Power 5, big time corporation. I cannot be in here to be the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
Everybody has to have something they brought to the table. Hey, I stole you from Microsoft. I got you from Bezos. I got you, you know what I'm saying? Big time dudes, who know how to coach.
That's why Jimmy was always amazing, because he had an unbelievable staff. Jimmy was a great communicator. He ran the asylum, but those dudes coached, right? That Butch, Campbell, Wise, all those, Hubbard Alexander, he had that place on lock, because those dudes were coaching.
Yeah, you got to have that. If your staff is full of a bunch of do-boys, G5 coaches.
Yes, men.
Yes, men, or whatever it may be. And for anybody, you're gonna have a problem winning games.
Right.
And I learned that. I always thought that, but I learned that the same. I was taking Ray Joseph when me and him was sitting in Alabama conference room, waiting to go meet with Nick, right? And I looked on the board. That was the year Miami was playing Alabama the first game of the year in Georgia. And I looked on the board, and they had every coach, an evaluation of every one of the coaches on our staff. They evaluated each one of them, where the guy came from, age, all this, who he coached, and then on the other side, can he make adjustments? How much coaching does this guy know? They rated those motherfuckers.
Insane, dude.
That's a Belichick type move that's coming.
It's like, oh shit, you know. So
Like, how do you?
Yeah.
that's what you got to do.
See, level he's running.
And,
Yeah,
and that's the difference between what we have at Miami now, or what we've had in the past 12 years, to opposed to a guy like Nick Saban, he has an obsession. He has an obsession with coaching. He has an obsession with teaching. And like, for a guy to analyze the coaching staff on the other team, what's their weakness? Like, how do you prepare for that? You know, that's why I think, in my opinion, Belichick's going to be successsul, because Belichick has an obsession. You know, and he gets people to buy into the program.
I thought it was a great move.
Oh, I think so too. People are criticizing. I'm like,
No way.
Oh yeah, that's.
I saw him said it's over in the ACC.
But it ain't the first. It is not the first time.
Yeah.
Harbaugh came from the Super Bowl, and then Harbaugh came from the Super Bowl and did what?
Right.
Go to Michigan. So people think this some new shit. This ain't new. This man was with Kaepernick in the Super Bowl. They lost, and then say, "Fuck this, I'm going to college." And then he started out coaching people with less talent. They ain't had no talent at
You had to
Michigan.
know the Chargers were going to be good this year.
Right.
You had to.
You had to.
Well, they
And
have-
so he goes
they have
back.
Justin Herbert.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're running a business, you create a culture based on your core values, and this is what you guys are referencing with the University of Miami that's had their core values for the last 30 years, right? That were set under Schellenberger, Jimmy Johnson, all those guys, a certain standard for the University of Miami, and they haven't been living to that. Harbaugh, right, has a standard. He's going to beat you up front. He's going to get an offensive line. He's going to get a defensive line. They're going to run the ball down your throat. Okay, he's going to get, the quarterback's going to throw maybe 20, 25 passes. It's going to be efficient ball, and that's his standard of football. Miami doesn't have an identity right now, and a lot of coaches in college football do not have identities in their program.
Luke, let me ask something. You're the general manager of the University of Miami football program. What moves are you making?
I'm the general manager. They're never going to give me that job.
No, I know.
Well, it's a hypothetical.
This is a
Dude, come on.
hypothetical,
I
man.
know. I'm fucking with it. I know.
You got the keys to the kingdom.
Like, what are you doing? Like, I have my opinion.
If I'm the general manager, of University of Miami, first of all, obviously in this day and age, you got to look at, okay, how much money you got to work with. That's number one. Then, all right, we got X amount of dollars to work with. The next step, and I think this is what Belichick gonna do, then I have to have great talent evaluators in there. I gotta have guys who know talent in the recruiting department. I will separate high school recruiting from NIL recruiting. Anybody that I bring in here that I'm gonna pay some money, that individual would have to have a draft grade. So I would go and get a Highsmith type of person who's from the NFL side of it, scouting departments that know, okay, he can get on the phone and call up one of 10 or 32 of his homeboys and say, yeah, well, you got him at on this board. Oh, I got him fourth round, I got third round, I got him fourth round, and all that. And okay, all right, what's the deal with him? That's the guy I go after heavy in the portal, not these dudes, and let's face it. The portal is what people see. That's a mirage. That's all bullshit because it's the good guys can get put in the portal. How do you get put in the portal? You call me. I'm the high school coach of a player who plays at Michigan. How you get around tampering? And that's what they do. They're going to get on the phone. Hey, look. Your guy Nevin, is he okay over there at North Carolina? Like, yeah, he good. Oh, but we liking him over here. Okay, so what's the number? I'll pass it on.
Right, that's it.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, our number is right here. Okay, let me pass it on. Let me call his dad him up. Hey, yo, they got this over here. You cool over there where you at?
Right.
Because these boys over there say they're never going to fuck the high school coach over because they got to come back to me.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
over. Yeah, it's over after one
You can
time.
fuck the agent over.
Right.
You can screw the agent over. Some agent who represents the kid because he has no high school. You can't. But you got to come back to the well.
Right.
You feel me?
Right, right.
And so at the end of the day,
One producing the talent.
exactly. So when you really look at it all, I would have 2 different departments. Had that guy that crew over there, and in the high school, 2 separate departments. The staff would definitely have to be upgraded. Now, if I'm a $1 billion operation and I can afford top of the line coaches, if I'm Power 5, big time Power 5, head coach, we gotta have a conversation. I need you to have the best of the best in coaching each one of those positions, because those guys spend all the time in those rooms with those kids, developing those kids. So I'll be like, look, get your feelings out the way, coach. You need to have the best and brightest staff. Obviously you gotta let a coach do what he gotta do, but then you gotta be like, okay, if you're gonna do this a certain type of way, then at the end of the day, I'm gonna hold you to that responsibility. That's how I do all my businesses right now today. I'm gonna let you run the shit. You run it in the ground, I'm gonna fire your ass. At the end of the day, I fired my athletic director of my youth program. He ran the shit in the ground. I'm gonna let you do what you're gonna do, but we're gonna have that kind of conversation as to what type of people, we expect to be around here to be paying. And I think, I think we've been failing in those departments for the last 2 crews, because you can't be the smartest man in the room. I can't be the smartest man.
Right.
I mean, if I run for governor of the state of Florida, I'm not gonna be the smartest motherfucker in the room. I'm gonna economist, the brightest and the best. We're gonna go find the best people to put in certain positions.
Yeah.
If you don't do that,
Yeah, to make you look good.
I'm gonna say I'm the fucking head coach. I'm chilling. And that's the same thing me as general manager. If I was general manager, the only person I answered to was the president and the AD, then that's what I would be saying, hey, look, this is what I want. For no matter what it is and where it's at.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, you ain't gonna have me out there looking crazy.
Where do you see the trajectory of the Miami program right now as it stands? Like this was a crucial year, I thought. Very, very, and I think had they basically they beat Syracuse, they're on autopilot as a program, right? They're loading up for the next year. Where do you see it right now after taking a loss like that and ending up in like the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which we know even sounds funny, right?
I see it's 2 things, right? Because we're in this portal time. And this is just my opinion. Cam Ward kind of it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? If you don't get Cam, you're playing Emory. So you might add a little bumps and bruises, but then you'll have an experienced quarterback coming back.
You've grown into something.
So you went and you got Cam, yes, great.
All eggs in one basket.
And you went all in.
He took your shot.
And so now you don't have an experienced quarterback coming back. He's going as a one-hit quitter. You know what I'm saying? That's one shot at the money.
Yeah, he took.
So now you're exactly. So you took the shot.
Yeah, he took the shot.
So now you're back in the same position that you was in last year.
Right. With
But
nothing
then
to
now,
show for, with nothing to show for it.
Now you ain't got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
So now you gotta go make a splash.
You gotta go make a move, yeah.
A big splash, because you cannot afford to come in with an Emory and go
Backwards.
Yeah.
backwards, 9 wins, and fuck that. Now you can't coach a guy, the best team in the world, and you can't coach the worst team in the world, and then you on your resume, all of these are your guys. These ain't many guys no more. All these are your fucking guys that you supposed to have developed, and they supposed to be, you said 2025, and here we are, and you got 9 wins or 7 wins, some bullshit like that. So he needs to have a big splash. And he needs to go and get the quarterback from North Carolina, call his friend up, the kid he played with at Ohio State. He need to go get them big money boys and say, look here, we gonna put the band back together. Those 3 kids, bring Bullet, running back, You know, yeah, he ain't gonna start over.
Chaminade boys.
Bring all those Chaminade boys back. Go get all your fucking money, cause all of them got 2 years. That's the big splash. I like Pat Riley bringing the big 3.
Right.
People gonna follow. You got 2 years with them group of kids, and even if you win 9 games, people gonna be like, you pulled off the heist of the century by getting JoJo from Ohio State, and so now you can. I got a little.
You can
cushion
breathe.
here.
You can breathe.
I can breathe,
See,
but right now your ass.
And that's
stuck.
why I say, and I said this on our podcast. I said, when they were undefeated going into that Georgia Tech game, and I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was that week. I said, man, if Mario beats Georgia Tech, they're almost guaranteed to be a 1 seed, to win, or to be in the ACC championship right there. Now, that's the time to re-up his contract. Like, he could have went right in right there.
Yeah.
Now, instead of re-upping for some stupid number, 12, 13 million, whatever the number would have been, Kirby Smart lane, now I think he's got this year, or he's going to be choking for oxygen, because you know the city we live in. Like, yo, fuck this. How many years? There's a statute of limitations on how many years you can blame Nevin Shapiro.
So let me ask you.
Endless.
Yeah, I don't think you saw that in your
You
contract.
asked me the general manager question. Ask him the question if you was in charge of the collectives.
I got my
How would you
plan.
disperse the money?
I'm gonna tell you
when they
exactly.
come to you and say, "Never."
I'm gonna give you the answer.
How would you do that?
And a mutual friend of ours, I've shared this with him 3 years ago, right? So, right? And I said, and I'm not going to use the name, but I'm going to say I have someone in mind that I know's got fuck you money times fuck you money. And I say, look, I'm turning this shit into the Miami, into whatever their
Entity.
whatever their advertising brand is, it's becoming so-and-so university, which is Miami. Give me all the stress. I won't write the checks, but I'll say, this is where we're putting the money, this and that. I won't control money because I'm not allowed to with my judgment and commitment. But I can lead and say, listen, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to hire. You definitely would be in the mix. You know how I feel about it. We had those discussions.
No, y'all ain't taking me there. You've been.
You know back when. Okay, so
You've been had me coming out that motherfucker.
consultant,
with the braces.
consultant, right? Right.
No, fuck that. I don't be sitting over there
Wait, hold on.
looking at this shit.
Hey, man, that shit's buzzing, man. Hold on. I think I'm getting a call from inside. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like I know exactly what I would do, but I'd have a Miami flavor, a real Miami flavor, dudes that really know what's up from that program, and then you got to bring in some innovative coaches that have maybe cut their teeth along the way, and you just got the right thing. But it would be, I mean, listen, the game's run on money now, but it like I said earlier, it's competition. So if bags are going around, okay, play for the bag. Whoever's coming out on top as the starter, yo, here's your tier.
But if they're coming to you saying, "Hey, look, I got this one kid from Peoria, Illinois, and the going rate for him is $1 million, and you in control of the pot, the money.
Yeah.
How do you?
I'm relying on our talent evaluators that we have that much confidence in. Very simple.
So you be part of hiring the talent evaluator?
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Based on I'm listening to guys like
the head man is the talent evaluator, the head coach.
But I'm listening to the guys that really scout the talent. Like, who used to scout the talent for Jimmy? Like Jimmy, like we're the ones that made those oversized, the linebackers become undersized ends. And we changed that speed game off the end, right? Who shut down the option? We did.
All the time.
We changed. No, not all the time. Back, we stopped it.
It
for
wasn't
good.
Florida State 'cause they were running out.
Right.
When
Well,
it
he's
was
a
all
Miami
boys
fan.
school.
He's a Florida State fan.
All
He's a
girls.
Miami fan.
Like, I'll never forget when the weeks of playing Georgia
girls
Tech was
school.
like, oh, we got to prepare for Georgia Tech.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But it's
we're the
all
ones who
home, yeah.
we're the ones who shut that option down in the mid-'80s. That was it. Otherwise, they 500-600 yards a game. But like Jimmy had great talent evaluators around him. Also, it wasn't only him. Like he
Right.
had those guys that could really spot. Like Wanstead was a great coach. He was a great assistant coach, right? So I I would just, you need those guys around you. I know exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making the personnel. I would be trusting the guys, but I know what the Miami brand should be. I just know what it should be.
So I have a question. Do you think there will be a time where Miami says, you know what, fuck this, we're going to put our feelings to the side and what we think the program should look like? And what I mean by that, the administration, and get you two in a room and say, how do we figure this out? You think there'll ever be that day?
No.
No.
Never.
Hell no. No way.
It's like what Luke says, too many suits.
Yeah, no.
Well, not even that. I mean, I'm looked at like a rat to the University of Miami program. Let's just say it the way it is. We know that's not the case based on what you've seen, right? Like, if anyone was the victim, I was the victim.
When you going to tell that story?
It's coming. But, like, it's right now. Listen, I'm pro-Miami.
Billy Corbin going to be the producer?
No.
Right there?
No. Billy. Fucking Luke.
You almost fell for that one.
That's Drew Barrymore over there, man. Fire starter, dog. Let me tell you, man. He knows how to get that fire popping, man.
He just went like this way.
I just know Billy was going to be the producer.
Yeah, man. I can just tell you one thing,
Just
man.
put that line out there.
Like someone else would have told my story. You know what I mean? It would have been told in a different way. My shit was more like Debbie Does Dallas type shit. Not like fucking Disney production. You know what I mean? That was like Finding Nemo. But anyway.
I was watching it the other day and I fell asleep.
Oh, come on, man.
You weren't that entertaining. I'm just kidding.
That's because we get him full dose all the time.
Nah,
I called. I said, "Yo, man, I couldn't get through it." I called you. I said, "I couldn't get through it."
But that would
And I
never
hadn't watched
that
it
would
in a few
never
years,
that would
yeah.
never happen.
Yeah.
And he knows a lot, man. Listen, man. I learned a lot from this guy, watching behind the scenes, and that's how I sponged my insanity towards the program and my knowledge. That's what a fan is. It's a fanatic. You know what I mean? And we have love for that, for that area code. And they should just be better, man. Really, honestly, they should be better. And that's even with the shit that they went through with me and all that other shit. They should just be better, man. We've bounced back so many times. And the talent, man, you don't got to look. It's next door.
Yeah.
And that's just the
It's
truth.
in the backyard.
Yeah, they had a coach the other day. I think the Illinois coach was like, yo, if this kid right here, if he played in Miami, he'll be a 3-star. Getting a 3-star from Miami. It was something down those
right.
lines. If the kid played up here, yeah, he's a 5-star up here, but down there, you fucking 2-3-star.
2 or 3
You're
stars.
a no-star.
Yeah.
But it's all about talent.
Right. So we're coming up against it, but I wanted to say my favorite song of yours, all time, Fuck Martinez.
Do you like that song?
Oh, man. I was 8 years old singing that. My mom was like, muchacho, what are you saying? Because all she knew was the word fuck. She didn't know anything else. And, I would blast it, CDs, the whole 9, but yeah.
It was like
the
my uncle
CDs
named
first come out.
you saying fuck your uncle?
Yeah.
My uncle named Martinez. God damn. Hey, no, I appreciate
Yeah,
it, man.
big
That was
fan.
I used to have to hide because my dad was like,
Yeah.
my dad was into all sorts of music. Rap music, booty music, not one of them. And I was just like, I got my hands on on the CD, not even a burnt CD.
Well, the CD with him on the beach with the
Yeah.
chicks.
And then I had it from like one of my friends. I borrowed it. And I'm like, I just want to listen to it. I remember I got home, I put it in, and I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking dope. We're going.
listen,
And my dad would go home, and I'm like,
He was so far ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Man, like, honestly, if they would have had to pay him NIL money just to rep this shit. Like, for real. Like, he would have been the highest earning NIL dude, and he wasn't playing.
He wasn't playing.
He was just the fucking hype man behind the scene getting his shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I have to say, this was very enjoyable. Amazing. This is going to rock the college football world for sure. And we
Yeah,
gotta-
this is going to be real interesting.
Yeah, we definitely got to do it again, man. Thank you guys for coming
I thought he was going to bring his bracelet.
I think I saw it on eBay, but anyway.
It's funny you should say that. I had a parting gift for you, man. I had a signed Pop-Tart box. But I left it in my fucking car,
That's
man.
a fucking low blow.
Fucking, I had a signed Pop-Tart box, man. Say, yo, look,
God.
man.
Yo, Lazo,
man,
we got the
bring the
Pop-Tarts
band back, man.
Not the popcorn.
Laz already ate them all.
You ate him? Yo, Laz.
Oh, shit.
100% he took them home.
That's a low blow there.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much
you
for
so
coming
much.
on, man. This was very enjoyable.
Appreciate it. Hopefully Florida State wins some games.
Oh, man. Come on. That's where we're going to end.
And the kick is, what is he looking at? What a hit!